Greg Crowther is our guest on the Coffee Project today. Greg is a business communications coach and founder of Communicate for Impact, where their tagline is, "Your words matter, make them count." So we're so happy to have you on for, I don't know, the fourth time maybe, Greg?
Yeah. Great to be sharing another coffee with you, Hannah.
So we're going to be chatting about nonverbal skills today. We all know that nonverbal cues are super important, but Greg, how crucial exactly are they in getting a message across?
Hannah, nonverbal skills are essential, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, that since we've been a child, we've been programmed almost to receive messages both as words as well as visuals. So typically someone at home or someone at school, there's the words coming, but also the delivery. So we're conditioned to receive messages both in words as well as in how they're delivered to us. So whether we've been at school or into the workplace, typically messages are delivered by someone, and we interpret those messages or decode them based on what we're hearing as well as what we're seeing. There's also a physiological reason why nonverbal skills are really important. Now, did you know that the nerve endings between your eye and the brain are 25 times thicker than the ear to the brain? So what does that mean? It means when I'm observing, whether it's a person or a group or an environment, if there's something interesting or even distracting, I'm going to be taking a lot of data in and processing it as a result of what I'm seeing. And so a lot of folk will really pay more attention to the nonverbal skills or the nonverbal communication because of that, the amount of information they're drawing in through their eyes into the brain.
Yeah.
So they're hearing the words, but they're also seeing that message. Well, so that's why I say it's really important to get the words as well as the delivery congruent.
So people communicate non-verbally in many different ways. Why is that, and what does it sometimes look like?
A couple of big influences there, Hannah. Certainly people's communication style, or some would say personality style. So some people are quite active or even extrovert, while others are more reflective or more introvert. So they're more thinking about the process. So the active communicators more demonstrative. So what would that look like? Bigger gestures, more obvious facial expressions, a lot of movement. Whereas someone who's more reflective in their style, so more thinking through an issue or a project or whatever the situation is, there's less movement. So there's less animation. So that definitely affects the people's body language or their nonverbal skills. Other factors will be someone's confidence in a topic or a subject matter.
Yeah.
So if I know a lot about it, so I'm going to likely to be more active in the way I talk about it or share information. Whereas if I'm dealing with something perhaps for the first time or that I feel a little uncertain, for most people, their nonverbal skills would be more constrained.
Right.
It's spending more effort thinking about it. And so, and there's a link between mind and body and what we see. So if I'm overthinking or thinking quite intensely, most people's body language or nonverbal skills drop off. That's why we can be in a meeting with someone and suddenly they break eye contact with us. So they're actually looking away to process what they've heard or hear an answer. So that will happen as well. Or some people, we may be in a great conversation and then they go, what sounds like really monotone. And if I rush to judgment, I might think someone who's monotone is a little boring, but it's not. They're probably thinking quite intensely, almost overthinking an answer or something they're going to say. And when we put too much effort into the thinking, nonverbal skills drop down. So that's why people show up in different ways.
Right.
The challenge for all of us is not to overreact to some of the body language, because it can be just that moment in time when someone is just needing to think harder. Okay. And so for the moment, they may not be as effervescent, as bubbly or as engaged as they usually are. So I often say to folk, it's really important to assess someone over a longer period of time, not just grab them as a soundbite and make a judgment that they're negative on my topic that I'm talking about or they have a different view. You just see the whole conversation and then take a reading from a longer conversation.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that about the thinking thing relating to the nonverbal communication that then goes on. Yeah.
And there is definitely another factor about just people's confidence. And so some people are more comfortable working within a small team or in a small group. And then suddenly if they're put into a larger environment, that can be a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And in response to that, people in body language probably withdraw. So there's not much gesturing. There's not much animation on the face. And eye contact might not be as strong as it would be if they're in a smaller group. So sometimes it's that confidence going into a different environment, which can definitely affect people.
Right.
Confidence, nervousness, you package it up and it does have an impact.
Mm-hmm.